Welcome to Postcard English Stories. Glowing Star. Hello and welcome back. I'm so glad you've joined me today. In this episode, we're going to take a walk through the beauty of autumn. The air is crisp, the leaves are changing colors, and everything around us feels quieter, a perfect time to slow down and listen. Today, we'll reflect on how nature speaks to us without words and how even the most silent of walks can hold meaningful conversations. Autumn, with its golden leaves and cool breeze, offers the perfect opportunity for reflection. Sometimes, life moves too fast, and we forget to appreciate the small moments. But on an autumn walk, we can connect with nature, our thoughts, and our emotions in a way that is both calming and grounding. Let's take a step back from our busy lives, breathe in the crisp air, and begin our journey into the quiet beauty of an autumn walk. Let's see where the silence takes us. The beginning of an autumn walk. It was early on a late October morning when I decided to step outside for a walk. The day was just beginning to awaken, and everything felt fresh. The air was cool, crisp enough to make you want to bundle up in a cozy jacket, but not too cold. There was a gentle breeze carrying the scent of wet earth and fallen leaves, and the sky was covered with soft clouds, casting a pale, gentle light over the world. It was the kind of morning where everything feels a bit magical, almost like the world was holding its breath, waiting for something. The leaves had already begun their slow transformation, turning from rich greens to brilliant reds, oranges, and yellows. The ground was already covered in a blanket of these fallen leaves, and as I stepped outside, the first thing I noticed was the soft crunch beneath my boots. It was a sound that instantly took me back to my childhood, when I used to jump into piles of leaves with no care in the world. The park near my house was always peaceful in the early hours of the morning, especially in autumn when most people were still inside, sipping their morning coffee. The path ahead was empty, except for a few joggers and a couple of birds singing from the branches of the trees. The park seemed to be still asleep, waiting for the world to come alive. But there was something about the stillness of the morning that made everything feel so much more alive, so much more real. I took a deep breath, feeling the fresh air fill my lungs. The coolness of the morning felt like a breath of fresh energy, and for a moment, everything around me felt in perfect harmony. I walked slowly, not in any rush. There was no need to rush. On a morning like this, the world seemed to move at its own pace, and I was content to walk along with it. The silent language of nature. One of the most beautiful things about an autumn walk is how it invites silence. As I walked through the park, the world around me was filled with quiet beauty. The sound of my boots crunching through the leaves was the loudest noise I could hear. The trees, now stripped of much of their green leaves, stood tall and strong, as if they were silently watching me walk by. I didn't need to say anything. I didn't even want to. In the silence, I could hear everything. The rustling of the leaves in the trees, the faint chirp of birds hidden in the branches, the gentle breeze brushing against my face, it all spoke to me in a way that words couldn't. It was like nature was having its own silent conversation with me, one that didn't require anything but my presence. I paused by a large oak tree, its branches stretching high above me, and I couldn't help but admire its strength. The tree had stood there for many years, enduring through countless seasons. Its branches had seen the world change, its leaves had turned from green to gold, and now they were falling to the ground, ready to make way for the next season. There was something humbling about seeing this tree, standing firm through it all. In the quiet of the morning, it felt as if the tree was speaking to me without words. It was saying that life moves through cycles, that change is inevitable, and that strength comes from accepting those changes with grace. The tree wasn't resisting the fall of its leaves. It was allowing them to drift to the ground naturally, knowing that new growth would come in time. A time for reflection. As I continued my walk, I thought about how often we resist change in our own lives. How many times do we find ourselves holding on to things that no longer serve us, whether it's a habit, a relationship, or a way of thinking? The leaves falling around me reminded me that sometimes letting go is the best thing we can do. Holding on too tightly to the past only weighs us down, preventing us from fully experiencing the present. The peacefulness of the walk allowed my thoughts to flow naturally. I thought about the changes I had gone through in my own life, the seasons that had passed, and the lessons I had learned along the way. There had been times of growth, of joy, and of difficulty. But just like the tree, I had learned to stand strong through it all. I had learned that change, though difficult at times, is often the path to something better. I felt a quiet sense of gratitude for these moments of reflection. Life can get so busy, and we often forget to take the time to look back and appreciate how far we've come. Walking through the park, surrounded by the beauty of autumn, reminded me that every season, both in nature and in life, has its purpose. Sometimes, we just need to step back, pause, and allow ourselves to reflect. The beauty of stillness. As I walked further into the park, I found a quiet bench under a large maple tree. I decided to sit for a while and simply observe. The bench was old and weathered, but it was a perfect place to take in the surroundings. From here, I could see the entire park stretching out before me, with the colors of the autumn leaves blending into a beautiful palette of reds, oranges, and yellows. The air was still, and I felt completely at peace. There was no rush, no need to do anything. I sat there, breathing in the cool air, watching as the leaves drifted gently to the ground. It was in these moments of stillness that I realized how much we need silence in our lives. We are constantly surrounded by noise, the hum of traffic, the buzz of phones, the chatter of the world. But it's in the quiet, in the stillness, that we find the space to truly connect with ourselves. In that silence, I felt a deeper connection to the world around me. I wasn't distracted by anything. I wasn't thinking about what I had to do next or worrying about the future. I was simply being. And in that moment, I felt more alive than I had in a long time. The quiet gave me the space to appreciate the beauty of nature, the richness of the present moment, and the peace that comes from simply being still. The gentle lessons of autumn. As I got up from the bench, I felt a deep sense of gratitude for the quiet lessons autumn had taught me. The trees had shown me the beauty of letting go, the leaves had reminded me that change is natural, and the stillness of the park had given me the gift of reflection. It was a reminder that we don't always need to be moving, chasing, or achieving. Sometimes, we just need to slow down, take a deep breath, and enjoy the simple beauty of life. I continued my walk, feeling lighter and more at peace. The morning was slowly giving way to afternoon, and the park was starting to fill with more people. But I didn't mind. I felt that the peace I had found earlier in the walk would stay with me, no matter what the rest of the day held. The silence of autumn. As I continued walking, the landscape unfolded around me like a living painting. The trees, now fully dressed in their autumn coats of gold, amber, and ruby, stood like ancient guardians of the park. The leaves had begun to fall, some gently swaying in the wind, others tumbling to the ground, forming colorful carpets beneath my feet. The rich scent of earth and decay filled the air, reminding me that even in the process of change, there is beauty. There's something deeply serene about the silence that autumn brings. The usual noise of the world seems to fade away, and in its place, a profound quiet fills the spaces between the trees. There's no rush, no sense of urgency, just the rhythm of the wind, the rustle of leaves, and the distant sounds of nature waking up. It felt as though the earth itself was taking a breath, and I found myself doing the same. Every step I took seemed to echo the rhythm of the season. Autumn has a way of slowing everything down. It's as if nature itself invites us to pause and reflect on the passage of time. The world seems to become quieter, and we, too, are called to embrace that stillness. I couldn't help but think about how we are often in such a hurry. We race through our days, our weeks, and even our lives, always focused on the next task, the next achievement, the next goal. But in the stillness of autumn, there's a gentle reminder that sometimes we don't need to go anywhere. We don't need to do anything. We just need to be. The lessons of letting go. As I wandered deeper into the park, I stopped in front of a large tree with branches stretching high into the sky. The leaves had mostly fallen from its branches, leaving only a few golden remnants clinging stubbornly to the tree. It was a striking image, a tree, standing tall and strong despite the changing seasons. In that moment, I was reminded of the lessons autumn has to offer, and one of the most important lessons of all is the art of letting go. Much like the leaves falling from the trees, there are things in life we need to release. Old fears, old habits, outdated beliefs, and things that no longer serve us. Letting go is never easy, but it is often necessary in order to make space for something new. The tree, in all its wisdom, stood firm in the midst of this transition, allowing its leaves to fall and trusting that in time, new growth would come. It made me realize that change is a constant part of life. Sometimes we try to hold on to things because we fear what might happen if we let go. But nature teaches us that when we embrace change, we allow ourselves to grow, to evolve, and to move forward. In the quiet of the morning, I realized that I, too, had things I needed to let go of. I had spent so much time focusing on what I had lost, relationships, opportunities, moments that had passed, that I had forgotten to appreciate what I still had. And more importantly, I had forgotten to embrace the possibilities that the future held. Autumn, in all its beauty, was a reminder that change is not something to fear but something to embrace. The beauty in the simple moments. As I walked along the path, my thoughts shifted from the bigger lessons of change to the smaller, more immediate joys of the walk itself. I paused to admire a leaf that had just fallen. It was golden and vibrant, its edges curled slightly from the cool air. For a moment, I simply marveled at its beauty, the way the sunlight caught the veins of the leaf, illuminating its delicate texture. It struck me how often we overlook the simple beauty in our everyday lives. In our fast-paced world, we are constantly chasing after the next big thing, always looking for the next achievement or success. But in doing so, we miss the beauty in the small moments, the warmth of the sun on our skin, the sound of the wind through the trees, the rustle of leaves underfoot, or the way the light changes as the day moves forward. These small, fleeting moments are what make life rich. They are the quiet gifts that life offers us, if we only take the time to notice. As I continued walking, I found myself paying more attention to these little moments. I noticed the intricate patterns in the bark of the trees, the gentle way the light shifted as the sun rose higher in the sky, and the peacefulness that seemed to radiate from everything around me. There was no rush, no need to go anywhere. I could simply enjoy the present, the here and now. This, too, was another lesson from autumn, the beauty of the present moment. It reminded me that life doesn't have to be grand or complicated to be meaningful. Sometimes, it's the quiet, simple moments that bring the most joy. A walk in the park, a moment of stillness, a gentle breeze. These are the moments that we should savor, for they are the ones that truly nourish the soul. The peace of nature. As I neared the end of my walk, I felt a deep sense of peace. The early morning sun was now fully above the horizon, casting a warm golden light over the park. The world around me felt calm, and my thoughts were clear. I had found something on this walk that I hadn't known I needed, a sense of inner peace that had eluded me for days. There is something incredibly peaceful about being in nature. It has a way of grounding you, of bringing you back to yourself. It's in the rustling of the leaves, the whisper of the wind, and the sound of birds singing that we can reconnect with the world in a deeper way. Nature doesn't rush, and it doesn't judge. It simply exists, in perfect harmony with itself. And when we allow ourselves to be part of that harmony, we find a sense of peace that transcends the noise of everyday life. I stopped again for a moment to breathe in the fresh air. The coolness of the autumn morning filled my lungs, and I felt my body relax with each breath. In that moment, I realized how much I needed this, the peace, the quiet, the stillness of nature. It wasn't just the walk that had brought me peace, but the act of being present, of allowing myself to fully experience the world around me without distraction. Autumn, in all its beauty, had reminded me of the power of nature to heal, to calm, and to connect us with something larger than ourselves. The connection with myself. I reached the end of the path, and it was time to head home. But I didn't feel like I was leaving the park. The peace of the walk, the silence of the trees, and the lessons I had learned stayed with me. I felt a deeper connection to myself than I had felt in a long time. I felt calm, centered, and ready to face whatever challenges the day might bring. As I walked home, I reflected on the walk itself. It wasn't just about getting out of the house or being in nature. It was about allowing myself to experience the moment without distraction, without expectations. It was about letting go of the stress and the noise of everyday life and simply being present. I realized that we often spend so much time worrying about the future, about what's coming next, that we forget to appreciate the beauty of the present. We forget to be still, to listen to the quiet voice inside ourselves that knows what we truly need. Thank you for joining me on this peaceful autumn walk. I hope this story has inspired you to slow down, to appreciate the simple moments, and to find peace in the quiet conversations that nature offers us. Sometimes, we don't need to speak to communicate. Nature speaks to us in its own way, and all we need to do is listen. If you enjoyed this journey through autumn, please like, share, and subscribe to Postcard English Stories. Let's continue to explore the beauty of the world around us, one peaceful step at a time. Backhand index pointing right. Subscribe now and join me for more stories that help you relax, reflect, and improve your English.